So, now we want to tell more about the learning and development part in EAPRIL, and that's why I give the floor to Patrick.
Good morning, everyone. We are very pleased to see you all here. As you know, we start learning as soon as we are born, and we do this these days until our last days. And this is one of the most important reasons why we thought that EAPRIL should focus not only on learning from an educational point of view, but there is more and more adult learning and learning into companies and corporate learning. So this is why today, for the first time, we also have this L&D sub-program about learning and development or corporate learning into the EAPRIL conference. In Europe, there are more than 100 associations concerned about learning. That's a lot. So this is one of the reasons why in 2014 we went to EAPRIL and we said, should we join forces? And what we have today is actually the first time we have a result to present to you. Actually, the aim of the network as it exists today is on three different things. First of all, our focus is on learning, not only individual learning, but there is more and more attention also for corporate learning. This is one axe on which the new network is working. Second is, I also discovered that within companies we do a lot of things, but they are not always really scientifically sustained. So there's a need, and also the opposite. Sometimes I read very interesting research reports which are not really used so actively within companies. So this is the second axe we are working on. It's bridging research and practice. And the third thing is, in every country there are several networks, but there are not so many networks which are looking on a European point of view. So these three things are what is really important and what are our aims, what we want to develop the coming 10, 20 years with EAPRIL learning and development. It's a focus on individual and organization learning. It's building a profound dialogue of exchange between research and practice, and do this on European scale. And why do we do this? Because we like to enhance our professionals and the practice into every day. This is what we really like to do, is inspire professionals to look in a different way to what they are doing. There are, as I just said, networks in every country. Some are focused on trainers, some are focused more on human resources, some are a mix of them. And now we are trying to have those networks together and support us in what we are doing. And actually we are very happy because today is the first time we do have a result to present to you. A result that we couldn't achieve with all those separate networks separately. And one of these things is a first European learning compass. This is a kind of research we did to find what exists already on analytics in the European field. And out of this we did a second program which we will present this afternoon on how to measure informal learning. And then of course this conference. So the European Learning Compass is a research that has been done by students of the University of Maastricht, where they looked to all the different research that existed and tried to make an overview about what do we think is important and what is not. And out of this report, we found there is more focus today on formal than on informal learning. And there is also a need to have more focus on this informal learning. So out of this came a second project where we did a questionnaire to see how much do we really focus on this informal learning today, and this will be presented to you, a sneak preview because it's not finished yet, to you this afternoon. You will have the opportunity today and tomorrow, which is focused on learning and development, not only to listen to two very interesting keynote speakers, there will be also a moment to meet each other through speed dating. We will have the session where we present the Learning Compass, European Learning Compass, on formal and informal learning. And we will have a lot of sessions, case studies, practice studies, where you can meet researchers or people from the field and what they have done into practice to share this with you. So we invite you to be present for the combined programs. I think Frank, you will say a little bit more on the second part.
I did my exercise this morning. I know there's a stairs over there.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I think it would be very good to combine the two program and mix sessions, although you might be the most interesting, for instance, in learning and development. Because EAPRIL is something about communication. And the biggest problem in communication is that we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. EAPRIL's tradition is having a lot of interactions into the conference. So we have a lot of different forms of sessions in which we try to facilitate this interaction. So I'm convinced, and it's the tradition that people are listening, participants, you are listening, we need to understand the things people are saying and to bring it further. And it might be also mixing up that it gives you a totally different perspective. I was with a group of students in a museum about writing tools, and then we came to this machine. Well, all of you know, but perhaps some young people, this is a typewriter. So I was explaining to the students that you can push on the buttons, and then you get the text on the paper. Then one of the students said, "Wow, that's an innovation. You don't have to walk anymore to the printer." So that's a new perspective. We are looking at an old-fashioned thing, but other people with different perspectives can give you a new insight. So, meet EAPRIL as an association, because it's more than a conference. EAPRIL is about, we have got an official journal, our EAPRIL journal, the Spring Journal for Vocation and Learning. The editor is in one of our keynote speakers tomorrow, We've got cloud networks and activities, and something new, which we also want to develop in this learning and development activity, is that we have some cloud funding. So, international projects in a specific cloud, we want to facilitate that they can come together in the office at EAPRIL, and we have a particular amount that they can support, fund some traveling costs. Not really much, because we are young and not so rich, but we start these activities. There's also an international forum for peer-reviewed papers focused on vocational and professional education. And here with the conference proceeding, first declaration for an open access journal. We are talking with different people to set a kind of an open journal, not only articles, but that it's also accessible, the tools which mostly are developed in our work. So that is different from normal access journal. So if you are interested, I invite you to come to this session and think with us how we can set up such an open journal. We've got the association newsletter, we've got LinkedIn discussions, we've got thousands of people who are interested in our LinkedIn. There are several interesting discussions going on. We've got also reduced conference fee if you get a member by one of the networks Patrick was talking about. And we've got reduced conference fee if you register for 2 years during this conference. And also, we've got regular research reports and updates on learning and development. One was, this will be presented in this program and was actually executed by the University of Maastricht. It's a very interesting study, actually. Another activity is that we are bringing on special issues on vocation and learning in the 2005 because we exist for 10 years. So if you have good ideas, we invite you to send in your ideas, about 1,000 words submissions in January 15th. We will select the best of them, and they can have time to write it out to a real article, and then we select again, and then we'll go into the normal, regular, double-blind review of vocation and learning, and that's why we hope with this procedure to get a good special issue, especially from the research which is presented here on the EAPRIL conference. So the open access journals, I already told you, we have a session on Wednesday, which we'll think through with people who are interested in to set this up. I think it's very, very important for people who are practitioner-based research, learning and development, also educational learning, to have such a journal. Most of the journals are too academic. Actually, what that misses is actually the accessibility of the tools and interventions which a lot of you are developing your work. So we also are in the internet. I don't know if you discovered our conference app. It's quite easy. You have all the abstracts and all. You can have your own schedule. We are on the program booklet of the folder. If you have nice tweets, go to the EAPRIL 2014 tweet. If you have nice pictures, upload them on the Facebook. You can also have at the end of the total conference nice prizes with the best tweet and the best picture. So we have our e-journal, Focus, Vocation and Learning, and we have our EAPRIL platform in which you can upload your presentations and other people can have access to your presentation. Another thing, this is the board, but we will have board elections in upcoming years. And the first move which we had to do is that actually Mark van der Pol, who is Secretary Treasurer in our board, he moved from job, and that's why he had to leave us already a year earlier than we actually planned. And Mark was saying, I'm having so busy with my new job that I can't do the treasurer with the quality I have done the last 3 years. So Mark disappeared, but we find somebody else. And I now will actually replace him. But as you see, the other board members will actually end their position in the board at the end of the next conference in 2015. So there will be some places for new board members. And I invite you, if you have interest in such a board membership, apply yourself, go to the registration. Don't wait for when we send out the mails, but you can already go to the registration desk and show your interest in becoming an EAPRIL board member. So EAPRIL memberships gives you a reduced conference fee, access to the EAPRIL platform, access to the conference proceedings, online subscription to vocations and learning, EAPRIL for cloud funding, L&D research reports, EAPRIL association news, cloud activities, and a lot more. So this is a bit what I want to tell you about what we are and what we want to be in development. But of course, I'm very interested in the board, which a lot of members I see here are interested in your interpretation of this new development, learning and development. So I open the floor, and if you have questions about EAPRIL or suggestions for the developments, we'll say this is the moment. Well, you can ventilate it, of course, during the whole conference, but does somebody have ideas or expectations of this new development, learning and development? Oh, it's like a real classroom. If you ask a question, everybody is silent. Okay, think about it, and if it's coming up, don't hesitate. Contact me or Ineke, which is actually our most wonderful support of the office. Ineke Bergmans is in the back of the meeting room. But don't hesitate and say your expectations to us, or to Patrick, or to me, so that we can think about and build this learning and development to a very big platform for the work which is done in Europe on this area. So now I want to give the floor again to Patrick to our keynote speaker.